we are actually dealing with a Tiger Woods-like phenomenon. Golf had a world full of fans, and then the rest of us showed up.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But interestingly, the rest of us showed up, and everybody was on the same team when it happened.
It was supposed to be just another quiet Friday morning in Georgia. The wind brushed softly through the pine trees, golf carts hummed in the distance, and fans slowly trickled into the RSM Classic Pro-Am, a charity event where famous names show up to laugh, swing a few clubs, and pose for cameras. Nothing more. But the second Caitlin Clark stepped onto the tee box, the mood shifted. You could feel it. That same electricity she brings to every basketball arena suddenly filled the golf course. Reporters stopped talking. Phones went up. Even the announcer paused longer than usual before speaking. And then it happened, a sound that broke the morning calm. Crack. Her swing echoed like thunder. The ball tore through the wind. Clean, powerful, perfect. The crowd gasped. One swing and she had just traveled 270 yards down the fairway. Straight, effortless, and impossible to ignore.
Caitlin, that could be in. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Caitlin! Right from the hole. 6 inches away! Caitlin!
In that moment, as thousands erupted into applause and Tiger Woods smiled from the sidelines, there was one person miles away in Indianapolis watching a live stream in silence: Indiana Fever owner Steve Simon. Because this wasn't supposed to happen. Caitlin wasn't supposed to dominate another sport overnight. She wasn't supposed to trend outside the WNBA, especially not this fast. But she did. And as that crowd chanted her name, Simon realized something terrifying for any owner to admit. He didn't control the story anymore. Caitlin Clark did. The RSM Pro-Am was never a major tournament, until now. It had always been a laid-back, low-stakes event where athletes, actors, and CEOs teamed up with golf pros for charity. But when Caitlin's name quietly appeared on the player list 2 weeks earlier, everything changed. Tickets vanished in hours, hotels nearby sold out, and when gates opened before sunrise, fans wearing Indiana Fever and Iowa Hawkeye gear lined up for blocks.
Caitlin, you were playing with world #1 Nelly Korda on your first 9. And
yeah, no pressure.
Yeah, that you were playing with Annika Sorenstam on the back 9. So
yeah, I think I'm just excited, honestly. I'm not a professional golfer by any means, so I think just having fun and like getting to be with, two of the best to, probably ever play this game. It's super fun and special for me. Like, I'm a fan of both of them.
For the first time in event history, golf organizers needed extra security. Not for Tiger Woods or Steph Curry, but for a 23-year-old WNBA rookie. When the announcer finally said her name, from the University of Iowa, now representing the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark, thousands of voices roared like it was a championship game. And as she stepped up to the tee, even seasoned golfers stopped to watch. She took a deep breath, adjusted her stance, and let the club glide through the air. The ball soared across the horizon, slicing through the early morning sun. Commentators fell silent. Fans erupted. That first swing, 270 yards, dead center. Even Tiger Woods nodded and said under his breath, "That's a real swing." Steph Curry smiled and whispered, "She's not playing around."
And I especially think when I see such stars, they're also bringing immense amounts of money and attention to the sport. Like, hasn't an individual athlete changed the game in terms of amount of revenue and dollars and advertising dollars to WNBA like Caitlin Clark ever?
Within minutes, clips flooded Twitter, TikTok, and SportsCenter. Caitlin Clark just shocked the golf world. Basketball star breaks golf record. She can't stop making history. And just like that, Caitlin Clark, the face of women's basketball, was suddenly the face of something much bigger. Back in Indiana, Steve Simon's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. ESPN notifications, PR emails, sponsor messages, all about Caitlin, none about the Fever. He had spent months building a brand around her, designing campaigns, merchandise, and community events. She was the reason Indiana sold out arenas for the first time in decades, the WNBA's most valuable asset, his golden ticket. But now she was trending without him, without the Fever, without the league.
Let me tell you what, Caitlin Clark is a little like Tiger Woods circa 1997. Tiger Woods brought all types of eyes to the sets with golf, people who never watched golf before. And Caitlin Clark, she's shooting the ball from 32 feet, pulling up from the logo. And these ladies in her league, they're upset. They don't like it. They don't like that she's getting all the publicity.
Executives inside the Fever headquarters reportedly scrambled to figure out what was happening. By 9 a.m., data analysts confirmed the impossible. Social media mentions of Caitlin Clark outperformed the entire WNBA's official account by 1,000% in a single morning. Sponsors were calling, but not for team deals. They wanted her. And that's when Simon realized the harsh truth every owner fears. You can build a franchise around a player, but once that player becomes bigger than the league, you're just a passenger. A leaked remark from a Fever staffer summed it up perfectly. We built the stage, but Caitlin became the show Simon had always been seen as one of the savviest business owners in women's basketball. Cautious, strategic, forward-thinking. But for the first time, he was playing defense. And deep down, he knew it.
She was so good, and everybody just knew she wasn't going to be this good this fast. And it pissed everybody off. Nah, she can't be this good. I'm sick of y'all asking about her. Why y'all always talking about her?
Caitlin Clark's story was now global, and she was writing every chapter herself. While the golf world celebrated her debut, a strange silence echoed through the WNBA. No congratulatory tweet from the league's official page. No highlight reel. No acknowledgement from her peers. Fans noticed immediately. Where's the WNBA? Why are A'ja Wilson and Angel Reese silent? Why is everyone pretending this didn't happen? It felt familiar. The same energy that had followed Caitlin all season. The fouls, the trash talk, the whispers that she got too much media attention. Now, when she made history outside basketball, those same voices had nothing to say. Rumors started circulating that WNBA PR officials advised players to stay on basketball topics only during the offseason, a subtle way to avoid feeding into Caitlin's spotlight. But that silence did more harm than good.
They are well taller. You didn't see my it hit the back of the net. Oh, yeah. Let's see what you got. No pressure. Oh,
To fans, it looked like jealousy. To sponsors, it looked like disunity. And online, the reaction was explosive. Commenters flooded social media. Why can't the league just support success? She's growing women's sports, not just basketball. Even Tiger Woods is showing love. That fan frustration quickly turned into a movement. Hashtag Let Caitlin Shine trended nationwide. Every major outlet covered the silence, framing it as proof that the WNBA still didn't understand its biggest star. And Steve Simon? He was caught in the middle, trying to defend the league publicly while privately wondering how long they could afford to keep fighting their own momentum. By afternoon, the numbers were staggering. Ticket sales for next year's Pro-Am were already 12 times higher. Golf Digest and ESPN pushed back-to-back features about Caitlin. Her swing had gone viral on every platform, even non-sports channels. Corporate America was watching. Wilson Sporting Goods released a statement congratulating her. Nike reposted a highlight. Hy-Vee, her hometown sponsor, announced a new Clark crossover campaign celebrating athletes who defy boundaries. Behind the scenes, Steve Simon reportedly called an emergency meeting with Fever marketing executives. He wanted to know how the WNBA could capitalize on this momentum. But one executive gave him an answer he didn't expect. We can't capitalize on it. It's not ours. Because Caitlin's success wasn't just a WNBA story anymore. It was an American sports story. She was the bridge connecting two worlds, basketball and golf, women's and men's sports, competition and culture. For Steve Simon, that was both inspiring and terrifying. In business terms, he had invested in a franchise player. In reality, he'd unleashed a phenomenon. What happened next felt like a turning point, not just for the Fever, but for the league itself. League officials began privately debating whether Caitlin's growing independence might overshadow the WNBA's collective brand.
Golf people were in a different space. They wasn't like, hey, you guys wasn't watching us before. We were all just like, yo, did you see Tiger Woods? So far, the only person that we have actually put next to Caitlin Clark is quite honestly somebody, if we're just talking about basketball, isn't there. Like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are not in the same.
Some suggested stricter control over player appearances. Others argued that limiting her would spark public backlash. One insider reportedly said, the league wanted to protect its brand. But what happens when the brand is Caitlin Clark? Simon found himself trapped in that exact dilemma. He'd always believed in teamwork, structure, control. But now, the biggest story in sports was happening outside his reach. Even NBA circles started whispering. Executives from the Pacers, the men's team Simon also owns, asked if they could feature Caitlin in crossover promotions. It was clear, she had become bigger than basketball. And deep down, Simon knew it. He wanted to guide her career. But you can't guide a hurricane. You can only ride it or get blown away. That night, social media exploded again. Clips of Caitlin's swing hit every timeline. TikToks, memes, edit videos. Her first golf drive had already surpassed 1 million views before midnight. And fans weren't done yet. When Aja Wilson posted about a new brand collab instead of congratulating Caitlin, the comment section turned brutal. Why ignore history? This is exactly why fans are frustrated. Even Angel Reese, usually outspoken, stayed quiet. And that silence was just as loud. For once, the narrative had flipped entirely. Caitlin wasn't the overhyped rookie anymore. She was the people's champion, the one fans defended, even when the league didn't. Hashtags like hashtag Caitlin Clark era and hashtag she can do it all started trending. Highlight reels of her golf shots were set to motivational music. Fans from outside basketball, golf lovers, baseball dads, even tennis fans were now following her journey. It was the kind of crossover no marketing department could plan. And it made Steve Simon realize something profound. The WNBA didn't just have a player with influence. They had a player who could change how the world viewed women's sports entirely. 2 days later, reports surfaced of a closed-door video call between Steve Simon, WNBA executives, and Caitlin's representatives. Topic: how to manage her crossover fame. Some league officials allegedly worried that allowing her to pursue other sports could dilute the WNBA brand. They wanted boundaries, contracts, clarity. But Caitlin's agent had a different message. You don't limit greatness. You build around it. The virtual room went silent. For a moment, no one knew what to say. Because it wasn't just about golf. It was about control. About whether the WNBA would embrace or restrict its biggest star. Reports say Simon ended the meeting quietly, avoiding confrontation. But those who know him well said his expression said everything. He wasn't angry, he was stunned. Because in one weekend, a rookie had forced billion-dollar executives to admit something none of them wanted to. Caitlin Clark was no longer the face of the fever. She was the face of the future. A few days later, Caitlin broke her silence with a short caption on social media. I just came here to have fun. But everyone knew what she meant. She wasn't chasing headlines. They chased her. She wasn't seeking attention. She simply earned it. Her parents were seen in the crowd that day, watching proudly as fans screamed her name. Her mother teared up when Caitlin sank a long putt and smiled like a kid again. Her father told reporters, every time she picks up something new, she gives her heart to it. That's the difference. Caitlin Clark doesn't dabble in greatness. She dives into it head first. Meanwhile, Steve Simon reportedly rewatched the broadcast that night from his office. A staff member who saw him later said he just shook his head and said quietly, she's changed everything. And she had. Because Caitlin Clark wasn't just rewriting record books, she was rewriting expectations. That Friday wasn't about golf, it was about possibility. Caitlin Clark didn't just hit a perfect drive, she drove women's sports into a new era. She reminded the world that talent doesn't belong to one league or one game. It belongs to whoever has the courage to keep swinging, no matter who's watching. For Steve Simon, it was both humbling and awe-inspiring. He'd spent his career building teams, managing brands, predicting trends. But you can't predict someone like Caitlin Clark. Because when she picks up a ball, a club, or even a microphone, something bigger happens. The kind of moment you can't plan or control. The kind of moment that makes you realize you're watching history unfold in real time. So now the question isn't if she'll conquer another sport. It's when. And when that day comes, the world won't be surprised anymore. They'll just say, of course she did. Because Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball player. She's a movement. She's proof that legends aren't born. They're built, swing by swing, record by record, one impossible moment at a time. And somewhere in the crowd, as cameras flashed and cheers echoed, Steve Simon looked on. No longer the man pulling the strings, but the man witnessing what happens when greatness refuses to be managed.